Hi, JS2H here, and I'm here to tell you a story. But before I get to my story, I have something to announce to everybody. That is, subscribed or not subscribed. This is for everybody that watches this video right now. Right at this very second, I have something to announce. I have now started a Patreon page. Now, I am not forcing this down your throat, because I'm not forcing you into want to sign up and become a patron. No. I'm just putting it out there for those who want to support me and help me. Because whereas right now, have you not noticed it takes me a lot longer in stuff to get my videos uploaded. I mean, it takes me forever to even make a video. But the problem is because the stuff I'm using to make these videos isn't cheap. So, for me to make this stuff with what I'm using, like right now I'm using something that's like, I'm using a demo to it, and well, for me to keep using it, I would have to uninstall, reinstall, but it'd be a lot easier if I just paid for it. But to keep paying for it isn't gonna help with my situation, with my living situations. I got other things to deal with other than to pay for stuff like this. But I want to keep doing stuff like this. So, for me to keep doing stuff like this, I need some form of income to come through. But it doesn't matter if you're willing or not. I mean, because if you want to sign up to be a part of my Patreon, the link is in the description down below, underneath all the other links. I mean, you can check out all the links down below. Everything that I talk about, everything you want to follow me, friend me, or anything like that, it's all in the description down below. Now, like I'm saying, though, is that the Patreon, it's something I'm trying to get started, and fortunately there's nothing on there right now because I have nobody at the moment. My brother signed up on it, but of course it's just one person. And I also need to let you guys know that it's out there, and I can tell you right now that you don't have to. I'm not holding a gun to your head and doing it, telling you to do it or else. No, it's up to you. If you want to sign up, then sign up. If you don't want to sign up, don't sign up. You don't have to do any of this. I'm just putting it out there that it is out there, and if you want to support me, then here you go. There's 3 tiers. There's the fan tier, time squad, and then psychic. And the fan tier only costs $1. That gets your name announced on all my upcoming future videos that I upload onto YouTube. Second tier is it's the time squad. Now that is the $5 tier, which will get your name announced on my upcoming videos. Get to see new videos released before they're released, so you get to get a nice view before everyone else gets to watch it. And you get to vote on polls that I will upload eventually on there too. for future videos that I'm going to be coming out with, and you get to vote on what I should do next. And then the third tier, you get to do the other two tiers along with everything you can do on those tiers you can do for in this one, but it's a $20, so you get those two benefits of what's in the other two, and get exclusive content only on Patreon and a Time Man t-shirt. Now, that is so far was what I got for tier wise, and the prices are not that very high. And so yeah, but like I said, it's up to you. You do not have to go in there and just sign up and become a patron. You don't have to. I'm just putting it out there as an option, so if you want to, you can. I'm not forcing it down your throat. Okay? This will be the only time I'm bringing this up. I will not bring this up in any other videos. This is just me trying to get the word out that I do have a Patreon account. So, now that that's out of the way, do hit the like button, or dislike, I don't care. Do hit that subscribe button and the bell if you want to see more of my future videos. Like I said, it's going to be a lot longer for me to come up with these videos because of timing. On top of that, timing with the work, when we go into work, and then on top of that with what I got to go through to put this out there. I also don't have that much free time most of the time. And obviously I do not live alone. So me using the computer isn't my personal computer, it's the family computer. Well, I do have a personal computer, but you know, but it still takes a lot of time because, you know, I got a lot of shit goes on in my entire family life. But beside that, let me get off of that subject. If you want to see more future shit, subscribe and hit that bell. I mean, you don't have to hit the bell if you don't want to keep getting notified, but if you want to keep up with my content, well, hit that subscribe button. If not, well then what the fuck did you click on this video for? Because I'm going to be releasing a lot more story time in this channel. I know I'm a gamer, and I know I have a lot of more content about video games a little bit. Most of the time I have content about music and stories. But now I'm putting more dedications to story time than I am putting in for anything else. There will be some video game times, and some probably music time, but the most of this channel is going to be now on story time. So, what is the story I have for you? Oh, well, ain't it obvious? I brought his name up so many times. I mean, hell, the Patreon is dedicated around him. Time Man. Yes, I know I have 2 videos on it, but those were shitty ass audio quality versions. I hated the way they sounded because I recorded them through a fucking phone. Yeah, I'm recording now with a actual mic. Before, all my fucking recordings was through a freaking cell phone that I would have had to cover up the camera with my fingers and just put my mouth up against the mic part of the camera of the phone and try to get a decent audio recording of it. But I hated that. I really, really hated that. So I went out and actually finally invested for a headset, a mic headset, so that I can actually record a little bit better than what I've had before. This is considered to me an upgrade. And so I've upgraded to this. And yeah, you think I'm going to tell you the same story what I told you before? Hell no. What you heard on that is what you hear. You want to know about what happened to those stories? You better go and watch those videos. You're going to have to suffer through that horrible quality. Time has changed, but I'm not going to do a redo. Fuck that. I did redos in the past for older videos, and I hated that too. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight. The backstory. The origin story. This is something you will never find anywhere else. Those videos, you can at least go on to fanfiction.net, which is also the link is in the description, and you can also look them up and read. I'm up to 5 issues on that. I'm still writing the 6th issue today. That's also another reason why I have so much things going on. I'm writing this book on top of that. But I never have released an origin story to the backstory of Time Man himself. And so, if you want to know about this character, you want to figure out exactly what it is, what is he? Where does he come from? Why does he do what he do? Well, that's simple. I'm going to tell you the origin story. So, that's why I say, sit back, relax, get something to eat, snack on, popcorn, whatever, get something to drink, go to the bathroom maybe. Well, of course you can pause anytime you want, so I guess you can go to the bathroom anytime you want. But still, sit back and relax. I mean, hell, cut the lights off if you have lights on. And just relax and take a little listen. Because I'm about to bring you into a whole new world. Now, it's kind of weird. I'm about to tell you, and this, I have nothing written down. Normally I have this stuff written down for me to read. This is all coming from the top of the dome of my head. Because, you see, I've been writing this character and I have his backstory permanently implanted into my brain to where I know his backstory to the back of my head. Because that's something you can't forget. But I've been writing his story without the backstory because I figured a lot of people, going by how comic books were back in the day before Spider-Man or even during Spider-Man, there was a lot of characters that had their stories written out, and then later fans demanded to have a backstory of this character and have an origin story. So later they released the origin stories. That's what I was planning to do with the series of the Immortal Time Man, but I was so focused on trying to get the story out to be straightforward instead of going to the past, because I already did a past story in there, but it was not enough for things to interrupt. So everything's continue on. He's still going after Lex at the moment, but he's tracking Shadow Relic through using the senses of Wolverine's super sense and using the power of time relics, which is another thing I'm going to bring in later on down the road and explain what exactly that means, because I know that's probably confusing. But the thing is, though, yeah, he's a complicated character to describe, and I'm going to describe him the best way I can without having any form of images. So, his real name is Scott L. Roth. Scott L. Roth, but he changes the name down the road later as he gets a little older. He changes the name to to Scott Madrox. And I know that name sounds freaking familiar because the fact that that was the channel name on here, the name I was going by on here on the channel, but that was just because I was trying to promote the character name, get the name out there. But in reality, yeah. Now, the character, he is starting off, we're going to start him off when he's 15 years old. 15 years old. Why 15 years old? Well, that's simple to understand. Because the character himself, he's also considered a mutant. And where does the mutant power gene kick in? At what age? Either 14 to 15 years old. I just went with the 15-year-old because, you know, he's older than 14, and I need to age this kid later down the road. So, he's 15 years old, his mutant genes kicks in. But wait, I hadn't described what he looks like. No, obviously I'm not. Thing is, the location where he's located, where he's being raised. Picture this. You know, from a planet far away from us, called Krypton, right? And the last, oh, I shouldn't say that, because he's not the last son of Krypton, damn it. But, yeah, the so-called last son of Krypton comes crashing from Earth, from Krypton, and lands on Earth and ends up with kids, right? Yeah, well, you know, that same effect where he's in Kansas and all that, that doesn't work with Scott Roth. No, it doesn't. Because you know what happened to him, right? Well, here's the thing. He was actually raised on the other side of the world of the planet Earth. The place where most American humans, yes, I said that, American humans, because I had to justify what I'm going with, because I didn't want to say all humans, I'm just saying American. How most Americans would dislike sometimes. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying some are not going to agree with what I'm about to say. The boy was raised in India. He was given as a child. No, he didn't land on Earth. He was brought to Earth. He was given to a Muslim in India that raises him. Now, of course, the whole time he can speak Indian, speak Hindu, and along with everyone else, because he grew up and he was raised there. And that's the only language he can speak at the moment. Now, of course, I can't speak that language, but I'm just telling you from the liberation that that's what's happening. Now, if I'm writing this down, what I would do is I write it in English and then put the parentheses around it and say everything here is spoken in Hindu, so that the readers know that this is meant to be spoken in Hindu. So say like if someone wanted to reenact this, they would need to know how to speak Hindu. So there you go. Now, you're probably wondering, okay then, what does he look like? Well, obviously, there's a bit of thing here. He has a bit of a short buzz haircut. But there's one side effect. He's not just a mutant. He's also not just from Krypton. He's also from Azarath. Where is the most thing about Azarath? Azarath is the place where demons are coming from. So that makes him 50% demon, 25% alien, and 25% mutant. So, his color, and yes, I'm bringing this out, the color of his skin is lightish red, not pink, but lightish red. Like, he's still in the color red, but it's so faded to where it blends in, where he looks a bit humanish, but he's still red. And if he gets angry and pissed off or something, because he's got that demon side of him, so his body turns into a darker shade of red, and his eyes will turn black, and of course he gains extra eyes because he's an Azaran, a demon. The hell spawned a Trigon, basically, you want to be technical. But now that I described that, I'm not even going to go into height, because he's about like the average of a athlete for a teenager. Like, he's not short, and he's not like small. He's not short or tall. He is kind of tall, but he's up there. He's like Superman almost, but except for he's not that tall. He's just at an average. He's like right at an average. I would say, since I'm like 5'5", yes, I'm 5'5", he's a bit taller than me. He's like maybe 5'9", maybe 6. I don't know. I can't remember. I figured that's where he's at on height wise. His eyes, on the other hand, well, he has white. His eyes are silverish white. I just thought that was always a cool spectrum of eyes, so why not give the character something cool, right? Yeah, right. So, on to some other stuff. Well, obviously what happens is he doesn't know where he comes from. He believes that he's Indian. He believes that. But he notices that he's not the same. He notices he doesn't blend in. He doesn't look the same. He notices as he gets older and he's in school. He notices this a lot. So, he starts to question. He asks his foster father, which he thinks is his father. He doesn't know that's not his real father. He doesn't know that. He just asks him. And by the way, I didn't give the foster father a name, just to let you know, because this story of him being in here is not going to be that long. Because shit hits the fan pretty quick now once his mutant abilities kick in. Okay? Now, so yeah, he notices that he's not the same. He notices he's different. He's not going to sit there and pretend like nothing's a big deal. No, he knows something's not right. So he questions his foster father, and his foster father tries to play it off, says, oh, he had a birth defect and this is blah blah blah. He's trying to sweep everything under the bus, because the foster dad, he knows too much. The foster dad knows more than what he's saying. He knows more because the fact that he was given the child by the person was enough to tell you that he knows more than what he says. But Scott is like, okay, fine. And he just brushes it off and goes off to school the next day. And like I said, he's 15 years old. And what happens at the age of 15? Mutant abilities kick in. Yeah. But what is his powers? You're probably wondering. Well, the guy's name's Time Man, but you think his mutant power is time, right? No. His mutant ability is something different. I mean, it could be close to replicating something else, but it's not the same thing. Picture this. put Rogue and Mystique together, and what do you get? A person that has the power to take the form of other people's skills and abilities and traits and make it their own. For example, if someone had like a metal arm and stuff like that, he can actually form his fleshy arm into that metal arm and have the same traits of what that metal arm can do. That's exactly what. Okay. So yeah, he takes that flesh, takes that power. So that's what he does with his immune abilities. That's what it does. He could trademarks and skills and abilities, not just powers, but anything. And that's why I say combine Rogue and Mystique together, and that's what you get. Because he doesn't have to touch you either. He can just be right there within the same vicinity as you. Now, I'd never put down how far away you have to be, but I just, like, I described it as being in the same room. That's better enough. So, sorry about that. My phone was ringing. But, okay. So, yeah. That's where his abilities kick in, because he's also, what's a good story without someone being bullied? Even in, and I mean, no matter where you're gonna go, you're always gonna have to deal with bullies, especially in high school. So, yeah, he's dealing with some punks, jerks that want to start fucking with him, and then out of nowhere, a woman appears and threatens the boys to leave him alone. And they start talking back like, what you gonna do and stuff, And everybody's speaking Hindu here, okay? So, just know that. Everybody here is speaking Hindu. So, if you were to watch this in a film, you would not understand anything what they're saying without the subtitles, okay? So, just keep that in mind, okay? So, the guys were like, what are you gonna do, huh? How about you, blah, blah, blah. They start fucking with her, but then she reveals that she's not normal. She's not a human either. She reveals that she has some powers, too. She just flicks the sand off the ground and just starts fucking flinging it right at him. Now, of course, her abilities sand, she has the power to basically, she can kill people, but she's not trying to kill anybody here. She's just using the sand to scare the shit out of them, get them running. So they run, they take off. This guy's like, who are you? And what the hell? He's saying all this in Hindu. And she speaks back in Hindu as well. Yes, I have to try to remind you, okay? She mentions that, you're not the only one with gifts, right? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, of course you do, don't you? And he's like, no, I don't. I see what you just did, and I don't know how you did that trick, but thanks for the help. But I could have handled it myself, he says. Now, of course, she tries to convince him, but then he just wanders off and tries to figure things out. And then all suddenly, there's this guy in a suit. Now, what I'm about to tell you is gonna be a bit of a mind-blowing moment, because obviously I'm a juggalo. Obviously you should know this, especially if you're subscribed to me. But if you're new, well, get ready, because here's some crazy shit going to happen. A man with red hair, like, it's not red, it's reddish orange hair, and a suit that's yellow with a red tie, And he walks up with a smile on his face and laughs. And he asks this man, he asks, "So, are you Scott?" And he says this in English, for crying out loud. But here's the thing. He says it in English. And you gotta figure this out. He doesn't know, Scott doesn't know English. He only knows the language Hindu. For him to know any other language, it'd be impossible without going through some studies, going classes and shit. But out of nowhere, this man says to him, asks him, "Are you Scott?" in English. And out of nowhere, Scott replies back with, "Who the hell are you? And how do you know who I am?" But he says it in Hindu, but he can understand what this man is saying. For him to do that, it's impossible. But see, that's the thing. He's not normal. Because his mutant abilities kicked in, and he has the power to take whatever traits and skills and all that. Well, there's another little trick he learns. It's called language. He can learn language very quickly because his mutant ability allows him to gain that skill trait. So, the fact that he met this woman that was speaking in Hindu, but she saved him, and reasons I bring that up, it will come up in a second. We'll get to that in a moment. But then he runs into this man that's speaking English, and so he developed his language, the English language. So he doesn't know he can speak it, but he knows he can understand it. So, after him saying that, and then this man says, "Well, you shouldn't have to worry about who I am, because you probably won't live long enough to know. Because, obviously, you're the one I'm looking for, if you can understand what I'm saying." He leaves Timon with a confused look, like he's confused. He doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't know who this man is. But of course this man actually reveals his name. He tells him, "But I'll tell you just in case if you do somehow survive. The name's Jake Jekyll." And then he flips out some flames and immediately bursts into a full flame effect, revealing his true form. And so for that, as soon as he's looking up and he's seeing this, he's a little bit like, what the fuck? He doesn't understand what's going on. And he's kind of scared in a way. He's like, "Oh, what?" But out of nowhere, sand just started rushing into like a sandstorm tornado that rushes around him. And it starts, because he's fire in the sand and all that, it starts turning him into glass. And then out of nowhere, a big giant rock made of sand that turned into a solid object. I don't understand it myself sometimes, but it came out of nowhere and it shattered him into pieces. And what grabs him by the hand from behind is the same woman that saved his ass from the bullies, and tells him, "Come on." And she spoke in English as well. So she didn't even speak Hindu at that time. She spoke English. And then she grabbed him and they take off. But then he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what the fuck?" And then he's speaking Hindu still. But then, so she's like, explains it in Hindu as well. But then he's like, "How the hell, what is going on? Who was that?" And so she's like, "I don't know who that was. I don't know who that was." But I'm here to come. I'm here for you. I'm here to get you. It is because you're a mutant. Your abilities has been proven that you're a mutant. And then he's like, what are you talking about? What's a mutant? She says that, well, there's mutants in this world. I'm a mutant myself. Every generation within the human race, within like 14 to 15 years of a human race, ends up developing the X gene. And it's not everyone, but there's some people that do develop the X gene. And it doesn't kick in until the 14 to 15 years of the lifespan of that life. And so within that, you're 15 and your mutant abilities kicked in. And he's like, how do you know this? Because I'm with the X-Men. My name is Dust. And see, that's where you should know where this is going. So that's how you know about her. If you're an X-Men fan, you should know. Dust is a member of the new X-Men. Now, she explains all that, but then he just does. It's like he's trying to deny it, but then wants to accept it, but wants to deny it. So then he runs back. He's like he goes back home. He runs back home, completely abandoning her, knowing the fact that there was a person with the ability of fire and can turn into a full flaming clown being of flames, but it didn't. But yeah, he's still gonna make the run. And well, he gets back home and then he talks to his foster dad, and then the foster dad finally says, "Oh, I guess it's time," and he reveals to him that he's not even human. He reveals that his mother, his own mother, brought him here and gave him to him. Gave Scott to the dad. And she told him to take care of him and raise him well. Teach him the ways and stuff. And then when the time comes, do reveal tell him everything he needs to know and give him this locket when it comes time. And so then he explains to him exactly what he is and what's going on. So, the story is like this. On planet Krypton, Krypton is being destroyed as we speak. As we speak. Now, Jor-El's a dumbass, because if he really wanted a backup plan, he should have started a lot sooner before this. But him and his wife decided to make a deal of sending their son to Earth. But then the mother said, but he'll be alone and there's no... Jor-El's like, I think I know a way. There's a place I can probably go to for help. It's not the best, but it can help probably. And Aurora, Laura, I was trying to say, Laurel takes the thing where she's accepting this, and I know I fucked up her name because I can't remember her actual last name, so I'm just gonna call her last name L. But Laura accepts what Jor-El's plan was. She doesn't even know what he's going to do. She just said, well, if you know a way to keep our son safe, do it. Well, at that moment, he opens a portal, because this is the only way you're going to get into Azarath. You he opens a portal to Azarath and meets with Aura Roth, which is also Aurelia Roth. And he meets up with her and discusses about having some type of safety plan for his son. Now, of course, she offers only one thing. Basically, they have sex so that they can have a child. Now, the thing is, the reason how this works is because Aurelia Roth has a bit of Trigon's evil power seed in her, so that, well, it makes it so that any child she has turns out to be demonic no matter what. Basically, her fucking seed, her baby seeds are straight up, her baby egg, is straight up possessed by demonic, whatever, blah blah blah. You kind of get the gist of that plan. So, and then he goes back to his wife in Krypton. Doesn't mention any of this. He just goes like, okay, we got something. And then, oh, and just so you know, this is what the father is explaining to Time-Man. But I'm guessing the only way for him to figure out how to explain that was through explaining the, from the, I guess because she explains that to him, for him to explain that to him. It's complicated, okay? I'm already making it sound more confusing than it should. So, let's move on. So, he explains that, so now she waited like 1 year when he turned 1 year and sends Scott to Earth to this man, and he was supposed to raise him and all that. And so when it came time, yeah, but now everything's been revealed. Now he knows the truth. He goes with Dust. Dust has been waiting for him outside the house, waiting for him to finally make the decision to leave. And so he says to Dust, so where are we going? And what's going to happen now? And she says, well, I have a jet waiting for us. So let's go and meet the rest of the crew. And just about, you know, right after he got done with talking with his dad and starts to go up to talk to her, he speaks English. And then from that point on, he speaks English for the remainder time of his life. Then sometimes he'll bring up the different Hindu words a couple times, especially if he's wanting to insult somebody without them knowing it. Yeah. But he asks where they're going, and she says, well, we're gonna go and meet the rest of the X-Men, and that'll be in America. America? Yeah. What? He says, I've never been there before, so what's it like over there? She says, well, it kind of has to go by what you think of it, because it's not what most people think it is. It's not always what people seem to make it out to be. It's not. But you'll understand when you get there. And so he follows her up to the X-Jet, the Blackbird, and they get on there. And the pilot, obviously, is Scott Summers, Cyclops, and he meets him. And that's all they brought with them. It was just Dust and Cyclops. Cyclops was the pilot to the jet, and Dust was the person to go in to extract and rescue Scott. And Scott Roth decided, he sat there and says, when he meets with Summers. Then when Summers is like, "Hey, I'm Cyclops. I'm Scott Summers," and Scott starts to say, "I'm Scott," and then he pauses and he's like, "Madrox. I'm Scott Madrox." And the thing is, you think he would have an accent when he speaks English, but the thing is, he doesn't. When he speaks English, he's speaking clean, clear English. It's because he has a skill trait from what happened when he was fighting Jake. Jake gave him the perfect pronunciation of English. See, even if he took it from Dusk, because Dusk can speak English too, but she has an accent to allows her to where she's still speaking in her language accent. But with Jake, he's speaking pure English where he's got no accent. So in this case, I guess he has an American accent. I guess that's how it works. Because I guess there is an American accent, but it's different from. It's confusing. I don't understand it myself. But yeah. So right now I'm going to end it off from here, because this video is going to go on for a very long time. I mean, I'm already at the fucking 46 minutes long mark. So I'm going to stop here and continue on in the next video. Now, if you like what you hear, you like what you see, hit that like button. Or if you don't like any of it, hit the dislike button. I don't care. It helps me both ways, at least. But if you want to see more, you want to hear more, if you want to have more, yes, I said that. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know why I said all that in one row like that before. I don't know why. I'm used to hearing other people say it that way, okay? Shut up. So, yeah. If you want more, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to get notified when I'm uploading. You know that video I uploaded, the testing mic video? That was me testing out the headset to make sure that this bitch sounds clear and better. So, yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna get back to where we left off, which will be when they are now traveling to America to get back to the X Mansion. That's where we will be starting off, is with them arriving at the X Mansion. So stay tuned for that.